Hey everyone, welcome to Tattoos in Vancouver. My name's Linton Chan. Today I'm here with Yuko, and she's going to tell us her tattoo story. But first I wanted to ask, what was your first experience with tattoos? And do you remember growing up seeing someone you liked have them and then that influenced you to get one?
Yeah, I remember actually seeing somebody that I knew. I guess it was like maybe around my high school days, and I remember he really proudly showed me, and it's unfortunate for him, I guess, because it sort of deterred me. I saw a tattoo and he showed it to me, and it was kind of like the planets. But he let his friend tattoo, and I guess he was experimenting. And I thought, oh my goodness, it's all over his body. And I realized then, oh, if you get a tattoo, it is there for life. Though now they have means to remove it, which are painful, from what I understand. So it kind of made me think, okay, I'm going to have to be absolutely sure about this. And this was early on in life. But I thought I would like to have one at some point later.
So, could you tell me that process when you decided for sure?
I think it was when I finished my undergrad degree. I thought, oh, I'm going to tie it to some kind of life event, because then it will be something I won't regret. It'll be memorable. But then at that point, I guess there wasn't anything specific. I thought symbolic-wise that I could tie it to. And I think at that time it was probably for the best. And then I went back to school. And after completing a program, I was working, and it was a difficult time. And for some reason, I think it felt right. Also, it was around my 30th birthday, and I thought, oh, you know what? I'm getting older. Now there's less time left in my life. I thought it's less of a risk. So I decided to get it done. It was around my 30th birthday, but it was more I was finishing like my black belt. I was doing taekwondo at the time, and I was also going through really a difficult time with the work. I was kind of in maybe not the best work environment, a little toxic, I guess. And I thought it was challenging, but at the same time, I remember someone encouraging me at my dojo and saying, you know what, you're going to be so happy after, so just work through it. And I thought just to kind of mark that period of time, and I think also the steps that it took, kind of going through my black belt, the different colors, I kind of used that, incorporating it into my tattoo. And I got it done in Montreal, actually. I got it done in Montreal from an artist. Though I have to say, with that experience, it wasn't the most ideal.
No. Why do you say that?
I corresponded with someone. I had a friend that recommended that I go there, that she was highly, esteemed, and so we had been emailing back and forth about what I wanted. And for me, I wanted sort of like a peacock feather. And I guess my error was we didn't really discuss size. So when I went there and she had something drawn out, they were very nice, but the size were much bigger than I imagined. And then we discussed coloring, and I think we both had I thought we came to an agreement on the coloring. She thought certain colors would look better on my skin, red, yellow, green, but I wanted to stick with the peacock colors. This was before the big blast of them being very popular. And then we got through it. It was almost 3 hours. And it wasn't that comfortable, and by the end, I wanted to see it, and then it was the colors that I didn't want. So I was kind of shocked. She chose like red, yellow, and orange, and I was just kind of, I guess, befuddled. I looked at them, and I thought, in my head, this isn't the color that I wanted. And then
you had an artist that just disregarded your opinion.
So she kind of wanted to use my body as her canvas, but didn't hear me, or I guess still, I don't know. You can chalk it up as miscommunication, but I just thought, okay, I'm just going to get out of here because I've had enough pain for one day, and then I will fix it later. So then I did actually 2 years later go. Finally, one day spontaneously, I went to some place on Queen Street, and then he kind of fixed it a bit because it was kind of abstract, and then added colors, and then I was pretty happy in the end with it.
Would you say, would you say it was just miscommunication?
I think she was quite, I think at the time I wasn't assertive enough, but she was quite determined that she knew what was best. And I think in the end, there's certain guidelines that they should give you, but it's almost like informed consent, I think, kind of in healthcare. Like, tell the person and be aware of all those things. Obviously, you do your legal duty within the guidelines of whatever it is, tattoo artists they have. But then if somebody wants something, and they, despite what, you know, everything's perception, so give them what they want. They're paying for it. You know, so that's what I found. And then later on, I did get some other tattoos, and I had that in mind, just thinking I really want to be able to feel comfortable with the artist and them to honor what I want.
Yeah, I just went, my most recent tattoo, I went to an artist who asked me everything. He informed me that's going to be permanent, so he took as much care into asking what I wanted, placement, whatever. He gave suggestions, but he never, you know, infringed on that. So I think that's very important. And I'm glad, well, I'm not glad that she did that to you, but I'm glad you had that experience, so now you know what you want.
And it was correct. It was corrected. It was correctable, I guess I'd say. And some of it you have to just kind of let it go. I mean, for me, I don't see it every day. It's on my back. So, but I think it's almost like you have the artists that you hear about, eccentric artists, or ones that are like, you know, it's my sort of my way. And I think to some degree that's fine for your piece. But when it's on a person, you know, there's also that kind of, not customer service, but interpersonal skills you have to be able to, you're working with a person. And they're coming to you for work. They're giving you work.
They're paying you.
Right. So you have to have other skills as well, other than just the product. And everything's just perception. What is art? It's very wide. Perception of art.
Very subjective.
Which is good. Very.
Okay. So you said you showed me already. You have 2 other tattoos. Can you tell me the story for those 2?
So I went and well, prior to that, I actually did add on to this one again, my sort of peacock feathers, and he made it like a tree and put birds. And I did good research in finding the person, and then they consulted with me. So that was still with the first one. The other 2, one was just on a whim. It was actually in the 2010 Olympics when they were taking place, the hockey game. This was and they had a win. Before that, there was excitement. People were were on Granville Street and gathering before, and I was meeting some friends, but I decided to pop in and just see, because I had wanted to get a tattoo on my wrist for a long time, the words agape, because I remember being at a wedding and thinking it was very nice. Unconditional love was the meaning, and it was used, and I thought, oh, that's something to strive towards, just in general. It was a nice notion, positive. So I popped in, and then they had there was a shop, I forget actually which one, but on Granville I went in, and then I met an artist. I showed him what I wanted. It was very easy, to find the print. He made the right size, and then he was kind of relaxed about it. And then I just kind of directed him, and it was really fast. It was probably done, it felt like, in 15 minutes. And then in the end, it was like a stamp though. I was like, oh, I was happy with it. Cool. It was the fastest process. And I got to see them pretty quickly too. I didn't have to book well in advance.
So you would say this is like the opposite of...
It was the opposite. I mean, for him, he just did the work, and he was, he was not totally, over-invested in it. But it was simple. It was just kind of like symbols. Okay. So in that way, it was different. But he did a color, and I don't know if he advised me. I'd been to other artists where they said, oh, you have to do black or something, it's going to fade. And he did red, and I wanted that, and I don't think he made too much of a fuss. He might have said, okay, there's some disclaimer about it, or maybe it'll bleed, but he was fine with it, and he did it.
Cool, yeah. That's what I think most people want in a tattoo experience. Just, kind of
It's an experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like when you shop, you want to enjoy it, and that can take away from the experience of it. And you're going to remember this because it's on you forever.
For sure. Yeah.
So you want to have maybe a nice story tied to it.
Can I see that? Actually, before I forget, can I see those two first?
Okay.
And I'm not too sure how much time we have, but.
So this is the first one. You can see it.
Yes.
The peacock feather, and then later the. I think now in retrospect, thinking of the birth, I would have gone lighter, not as dark.
Not as dark.
Maybe not filled in.
Okay.
But you learn things after the fact when you see. But I was really happy at the time, and in the end,
Thanks.
it's not even perfect. And then this is the other one.
Okay. And how do you pronounce? Can I see that one more time? Thank you. And how do you agape? And that means
unconditional love.
Unconditional love.
It's a biblical. And this is the last one.
Okay.
From a biblical verse to Ecclesiastes 1:14, which I guess most of all I got from as something inspirational. That was the last one I got, and I chose the artist, and again it was fast. So it was a female, and she was great. She's down. I think that tattoo shop is now gone, and it was on. I think it was on Davie near Denman. But I looked for it again. It was a great experience. And then she recommended, and I asked her aesthetically what color. She said, "Oh, gray would be nice." And I chose the font, very straightforward. And then this one symbolizes less focus on doing and having to accomplish tasks and more so on just being and just accepting and being authentic.
Okay.
And not feeling like for me to question when I do something, is it based on ego or is it really just an authentic something that's life-giving?
Or I mean selfless.
I guess I think it's more like this is. I mean, from the scripture, it says. I might butcher it. Everything is meaningless under the sun. A chasing after the wind. And I might be butchering that. But basically, like doing everything that we do by work. It could be accomplishment driven. It could be status. All these things that we try to achieve in externally are meaningless in a way. They have benefits, but I think in the end to your internal peace, if you look at them for what they are, it comes from the inside. And when you have that internal peace, those things aren't as important. So you have different interpretations of.
I think what you're saying is focusing more on the spiritual, not the physical things in life, or
yeah, definitely. I think it's more about spiritual and self-growth versus things that really just come and go, just like a brand new shirt. It's not new as soon as you spill on it right away. And there's actually one spiritual teacher I like to hear, and she kind of mentioned that as soon as you get something, it's already decaying, which is interesting to me when you think about material things. And then I thought more about vanity and just also status, things like that. That those you don't ever know if you have them. Yet people spend so much time trying to attain them, but that it's something you don't even know you have. And it's definitely not something that's almost real then. How do you know it's real? Anyways, that's just what I thought.
Okay. So all of your tattoos are more kind of, I feel like, have this, I don't want to repeat, spiritual meaning or something that's strongly close to your beliefs. I guess.
Yeah, I guess
Or,
you're right. Actually, you tied to God. Well, this is biblical.
Yeah.
Similarly, this was at a wedding, and that was, a Christian wedding. But
So you got this.
this was not at a wedding, but it was at a wedding
Okay.
that I heard it when they were exchanging vows. And the other was my own personal growth, I guess, and journey. So yeah, and that's why I think for me, instead of it being just about an actual piece of art, which is fine if people want to do, but for me, I don't regret it because it's tied to my belief system, or also an experience that was transformative, I guess. So those are things I'll never regret.
Yeah.
So that's what I think when it comes to tattoos. For me, that's what I've done.
Yeah.
Though I still have a desire to do more.
Yeah, that's one of the questions I was going to ask you before we wrap this up. What would be your next tattoo?
I was thinking, well, my daughter, I thought I'd have something related to her existence, like being a mom in some way. I've looked at different things. I haven't found anything that's really kind of unique and also tied to her. So, I mean, I thought about, seems like for her, owls come up a lot, maybe even a little owl. But then you see birds and stuff with, other little bird, the mother with the children. So that's something I thought about. There's dates too. And just I see some really pretty ones now with, flower or just even a watercolor. I thought about something for my heritage, Japanese, like the crane.
Yeah.
When I see, so I'm toying with a lot of different things.
Well, there's always that crane bringing the baby.
Huge.
The crane bringing
That's
the baby.
true. Oh, I never thought of incorporating the two. Yeah.
I don't know.
I have to look into the origin of that tale, or where that came from, the stork carrying the baby. I don't think it's Japanese. I think it's funny.
Yeah, no, me too.
Yeah.
Maybe a Japanese style.
But it's a nice one. It's a nice one. Yeah.
And leading on to our other question about your daughter, would you ever let her get a tattoo? And how was when you told your parents about your tattoos? How were their reaction to it? Yeah. It's
funny because my mother knew about tattoos, but she did not. Actually, in Japan, I think it's considered quite taboo to have a tattoo, even now.
Yeah.
But as a foreigner, even myself, I'd be considered like a foreigner. It's fine. But if you're in Japan, it is considered pretty taboo. That you're, I think, historically part of the Yakuza. That's what she told me as a gang member.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, if it's a butterfly, am I still? And she's anything. And I actually never told her. But really? I was almost 30 when I had it. She actually saw it one day, and I kind of dismissed it. She kind of, I think, just accepted it overall. And my dad too understands it. He understands. He would never do it himself, but he understands himself that, oh, I see you tied it to certain events, and so they respect that I'm a grown up. For my daughter, since I have one, and she has asked about this, what is this, the drawing? And I would say, of course, since I have one, I would say she could get one. Obviously, I think you have to be of a certain age to get one. So, I would love to go with her if she wanted to. I wouldn't encourage it. I wouldn't discourage anyone. I would definitely say, though, that I thought for a long time before I did. And then I'd probably want to see it before, which you decide aesthetically, and also obviously. But nowadays, if you go to a professional, they do a good job. But still, that's kind of what I'd be concerned with, and location, because many work industries don't mind it. I work in addictions mental health. That's fine. There's lots of people with tattoos, and nowadays it's not so frowned upon if it's visible. If you're in the corporate industry, maybe not. For her, thinking about what kind of work she'd want to do. So just things that she'd want to think about. But I think it's a way of adorning people, just like we, wear jewelry. But it is permanent. That's the difference.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
permanent. I mean, our society.
And it hurts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people maybe don't even want to go through that kind of pain.